Welcome to the Trades Podcast, a podcast about the business of home improvement and promoting the trades to young adults.
Yes. Happy days, everybody. Here we are. This is the Trades Podcast. I'm Danny.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are here recording in the Ignite BBB podcast studio in San Diego, California. We're always happy to be in San Diego out of all the places to be in this world. But again, we're here. We're ready to record, ready to have some fun, ready to learn some Girlie Garage here. We've got Talayna in the house. Talayna, how are you?
I'm great, man. It's 75 degrees in January, though. It's a little hot today.
I know. Yeah, definitely. If you're working out there in the sun, you're a tradesman or working in the garage, I'm sure it's a little hot, but we're ready to bring some light and some coolness to this to the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited. Talayna, introduce yourself, Girlie Garage, and let us know a little bit about you.
Yeah, my name's Talena Handley. I'm the founder and CEO of Girlie Garage, and I do automotive education so that people don't get taken advantage of at auto shops. Now, what does that actually mean? So many of us don't have this opportunity to learn about this giant machine that we climb into every single day. So if you've gotten to a certain point in life, a lot of times we don't have time or resources or money to go back to school and learn these things that we should know, right? So we don't have 16 weeks, but we have 3 hours. So I do in-person automotive training. That's a 3-hour hands-on course. I also do 2-hour STEAM training for our little ones. I do 1-hour family workshops. I do a lot of consulting. So I do a lot of second opinions on shop quotes, things like that, to just help people have those resources. And you know how they say, teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime? That's what we're doing with automotive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And roll back on the STEAM side of things for everybody. What's the STEAM stand for, and what is that?
STEAM, yeah. It's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. So that's a type of education that we are applying that's very hands-on, but it also includes all types of learning.
Mhm.
And it's very directed at those individual topics and bringing them all together. So when we do that, we get into the minds of an automotive designer, and then we build a vehicle out of clay. It's actually way harder than it sounds.
Wow.
I bet it does.
So that those classes are just all throughout the year. I mean,
Yeah,
where are they being held?
So people can book them individually directly on my website, or if for some reason, cost is an issue, and you have a library card, you can come to one of the programs at the library. We are rolling Girlie Garage out to other cities, so I'm very excited to say that we're about to be in multiple cities.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And this is where it all started, San Diego.
This is where it started.
We want to thank our sponsor. Superior Flooring Cabinet Designs is one of the landmark family-owned businesses in Encinitas. Owner Cheryl Robertson, with years of customer experience managing her family's hardware and cabinet business in North Park. Cheryl Robertson and the Superior team dive deep to learn about your project and help you find the perfect solution for your flooring and cabinetry needs. Call today at 760-436-0900 or visit www.superiorfloors.com.
And this is where it all started, San Diego.
This is where it started. Yeah.
Right here, San Diego. Now, you explain a little bit more about where it started, but what was your experience of kind of like what led you kind of into this path?
Yeah. So my car has been stolen twice. And the second time it was stolen, I didn't trust anyone to help me put it back together, especially my ex. So I ended up putting myself through automotive school at my local community college. And so I have an associate's degree in automotive. Now, I didn't want to be a mechanic, like the traditional mechanic. I really didn't want to show up to a lube rack every single day, have to get doused in 200-degree oil, have to spend $50,000 in tools. So instead, I ended up in racing. And I got to travel the US and Canada working for a whole bunch of very cool race teams. And that experience taught me that there's so many cool jobs in automotive that people don't even think of. You don't have to show up every day and get dirty. You could work in parts. You could work in new cars, used cars, sales, finance. There's accounting, there's marketing. There's so many cool jobs that if you love machines, there's a job for you.
Yeah. No, that's a huge, absolute great oversight of, not just working with your hands, but also on the back end. You can have a passion towards, big machinery, cars, vehicles, and still be able to sell them, or even if you like numbers and vehicles, then you can run the numbers for them too.
100%. They're actually digging up my street right now because they're replacing the sewers. I've literally been sitting in my front window, like staring at them obnoxiously because they're getting to play with all those giant machines that you play with in the sandbox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking of racing, I don't know if that's dating myself, but probably is. Growing up here in San Diego, El Cajon Speedway, used to love going out there. But the passion that for the guys, it wasn't just the driver. Everybody else that got to work on the car was out there having a blast every weekend.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, every night after work, coming
It's a
back.
family.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm seeing it again now at Brona.
Good. Good. I'm glad you're still involved.
Well, I don't know about involved, but I'm going out there and watching the people that are, and it's a good time.
And now, say this was you putting your car back together. You put yourself through the associate's degree, and did Girlie Garage right there? That was it.
Oh no, gosh, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I look good for being as old as dirt. Um, so lots of ups and downs, lots of working in and out of automotive. Girlie Garage actually came in the end of 2020. So I had 4 jobs when COVID hit, and then I had no jobs. So I was like playing on my phone for like 12 hours a day, like losing my mind because I'm 100% extroverted. And so for the world to tell people who are extroverted that you can't go out and make friends and do things, literally I was dying. So I was doing all of those things you say you're going to do one day, right? Like I put batteries in all of my watches, and like used that momentum to propel me into some of the bigger things that I'd been putting off, like changing out a camshaft adjuster in my motorcycle and things like that. So I was in the middle of doing those projects, and one of my girlfriends hit me up. She's like, "Hey, I just went and got my oil changed. They're telling me I need to replace all of my brakes and my spark plugs, and it's going to be $2,500." Mind you, this was on her Chevy Traverse.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she said they were making noise, and that it was really scary because they like made it sound really scary 'cause she uses that car to carry her kids. So when she called me, I was like, "Are they making noise?" And she said, "No." And I was like, "Then they're not metal to metal." She's like, "Well, please, can we please just check it out?" So I taught her all about the braking system, how to change her own brake pads. We did all of her brake pads. She didn't need rotors. And we did her spark plugs for less than $300. And that was including labor.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy cow, I need to be using my skills to help people. So that's how Girlie Garage was born. It was as a mobile mechanic. And then about a year and a half in, a Girl Scout troop came to me and they were like, "Hey, oh my gosh, you're a female mechanic. Can you teach my girls?" I was like, "Yeah." And I realized that you can only help a tiny little handful of people if you're physically fixing their cars, but you can help millions of people if you teach them how to have honest conversations with mechanics. So that's my passion.
I love that. Absolutely. I mean, you applied, like you said, the skill that you have. You got, knowledge is one thing. That's always huge. And then,
Yeah, people can't take that away from you. So
no,
once I teach someone, if you go teach someone else, now our whole community is safer.
absolutely, absolutely. And the initiative behind it too of one, it's sad. You just hear that story all the time where women go to the mechanic or even just talking within our internal space of contracting, of home improvement projects. So you have those bad apples that are out there that are looking to try to make a quick one and, not give the right information or just make it sound mumbo jumbo. And then it's just like, okay, well, fix whatever it is that you want out of my car.
Yeah.
But the fact that this friend called you and said, "Hey, I need help," and like, I don't know what this guy's talking about, but you obviously know, and now it's you sharing it to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that like honestly fills my cup every day. So to watch people just literally lift their hood, who have never lifted their hood before a lot of times,
Yeah.
and look under there and just be like, I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
To leaving my class 3 hours later, not only knowing, but also understanding how to care for this very expensive and giant machine that we climb into every day.
Do you think there's a lot of stigma still out there with women going to the mechanic, like you described with your friend?
100%. Yes,
Yeah.
it's still there. The problem nowadays is that now also men don't know anything about cars. So I'm a resource for everyone. I just advertise to women because a lot of times women understand the value of knowledge.
That, yeah, I have to admit that I've had multiple family members that want me to go with because I know what the heck I'm
Thank you for
talking
doing
about.
that. Thank you for being an ally.
Yeah, I go there and it just seems to change the attitude of whoever the rep or whoever they're talking to. Service advisor, I guess, is the name in a lot of places. Simply because I'm a male and I'm there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I know what I'm doing. Just try to act like it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wish that's we were not the case out there. So it seems like you're making some roads to change that.
Yeah, we got to do our best, right? Like we are still human at the end of the day. So if you can help out your fellow humans, that's what we're trying to do.
You're empowering a lot of people, it sounds like.
Yeah, one thing that popped out to me is like you said, it was really 2020 where this really started, but it was an initiative piece for you where it was like, okay, I'm an extrovert. I need to be talking with people. I need to work with my hands, or I need to do something.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, where do I start? And it was interesting enough to hear like you started with yourself first. How do I start with just starting doing things for myself, changing batteries out of my watches? I don't know how many watches you have.
11.
But to just start right there is like, okay, now it's all right, move on to the next thing. It's like, well, okay, what else can I create an opportunity for myself, or have the opportunity to actually listen to say, hey, this person need my help and I can help others by doing exactly what I just did.
Yeah. And if you problem solve a big enough problem for enough people, you have a business.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the Girl Scouts called you. Now, where does it fall into place from there? Like, who ended up calling you after that, and where did it kind of like snowball?
Yeah, good question. Girlie Garage has large contracts right now in San Diego with the 36 San Diego County libraries, the Girl Scouts. We also work with all the TANF Native American families on the reservations. We also have a contract with the DA's office for their juvenile diversion initiative. I would love to get in with someone like AAA for their, their driving school or other driving schools, a place where our youth are learning this knowledge and not getting to the point where it's like, oh, I was supposed to learn this at some point. Like right when you're getting into that car for the first time is a really good time to be learning how to take care of it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. When soon as you said that, I remembered going back to just like I remember the Baker driving school classes, and I was learning how to drive the car. But I mean, like you said, if you open up the hood, I wouldn't be able to tell you where anything was at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Super important to know those things.
Mm-hmm. And now, uh, you have these big contracts. I mean, this is huge through just San Diego. You said you're looking to move into like different cities. What what's that process looking like? Are you looking for more female mechanics or male mechanics to kind of fall into this place? Where does that fall into you for like expanding?
Yeah. So to just give you some basic numbers, and actually, you guys know how to play Price is Right, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Price is Right rules. Take a guess out of the 235 million licensed drivers there are in the US, and you can use a percentage. How many mechanics do you think there are to service those drivers?
1%.
So 1% would be 2 million.
I'll say, wow, Jeff got me down on that number. I'll have to go around that number too. I guess. I don't know. I would say 5%.
He was fast.
Yeah, I know. It was very fast.
Okay, so 5%, let's see here. 10% would be 20 million, so 5% would be 10 million, right? Okay, so out of the 235 million licensed drivers we have in the US, there are 0.03%. So that's 900,000 mechanics in the entire country to service all of those drivers.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no regulation on pricing in the automotive industry. So people can charge whatever they want. Now, out of those 900,000 mechanics, how many female technicians do you think there are?
Percentage wise?
Yeah, percentage is easier.
If you're saying, yeah.
0.25%.
A
Yeah.
1/4%? So 0.25?
2%.
2%?
Because I think that pendulum has been swinging a little bit.
25,000. Yeah, I'd go a quarter percent of the mechanics are women.
Okay, so 25%.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's actually 1.8%. It's 1.8%. We have about 19,000 licensed female mechanics in that pool.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are we missing mechanics in general, we're missing about 2 million mechanics. A lot of people retired during COVID specifically. But also, there's a lot of room for women to enter this field. So, in particular, I'm looking for people who are excited about educating and empowering others. You don't have to know the car stuff. I'll teach you the car stuff. So that's not like a barrier to entry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because it's that trust sometimes when it's something that's so complex with the vehicle that you got to be able to meet them at a different way of explaining of your basic A to B. This is how this connects and this works. Well, how does it work?
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to explain that.
Well, and a lot of what I teach in my 3-hour workshop is not so much DIY. So people are oftentimes afraid or, they don't want to get dirty. Like this is more all of the resources so that you can find and have those honest conversations with mechanics. So we do learn basic automotive safety, especially around hybrids and EVs nowadays where they have enough high voltage to kill a human. We learn basic automotive maintenance. So we talk about all of your fluids, how to check your minimums and maximums, colors, smells, all of that good stuff, where to find everything in your car that needs maintenance. We cover how to have those honest conversations with mechanics, how to confirm or deny whether repairs need to be made. And then we also cover emergency situations where we do take off a wheel, we do jumpstart a car, and we do all of that in class. So it's not so much how do I take what this person, like, how do I explain this very niche thing? It's more like this person is saying something to me that I don't necessarily understand. How do we get to a point where we're both at understanding so that we can move forward? Or something has happened. How do I communicate it in a way that they're understanding me and not taking advantage because I'm not understanding them? Does that make sense?
Yes. I think it'd be perfect though for anybody out there listening that doesn't understand that. Can you provide an example? Like what's that one
Yeah.
most frequently asked question that goes in?
Well, the most commonly upsold item is our engine air filter. I talk about that in class because most of our engine air filters take no tools and under 5 minutes to check and change yourself. So that is something you could just quickly find a YouTube video on and confirm or deny whether yours actually needs to be changed when someone is trying to upsell you on it. Another really easy example is if you go in and you see something dripping on the ground, you're like, I'm going to the mechanic, something's dripping. Okay. You go in and you say, my car is leaking. You're going to get the girl price. I don't care who you are. Okay. But if you go in and you say, my car is leaking coolant, I think it's coming from here, they're going to treat you a lot differently. So if you can use your deductive reasoning that you learned in class to identify what is potentially leaking and then use that language, you're having a whole different conversation.
Absolutely. Playing it in my head right now. And that would definitely be a much different, two different answers.
You want to go to the class with me, Danny?
Yeah, we should have a workshop here, huh?
For sure. No, I mean, again, I'm no know-it-all when it comes down to vehicles. I've always been passed on knowledge from friends that have been mechanics through military and just friends. YouTube University, same thing.
You got to be careful though, especially with AI nowadays, and there's so many people with access to just creating videos. You need to be watching multiple videos, and I would never trust AI with something important. Like make sure you can find a human forum who is responding and creating that answer, especially for this giant machine, because machines are not tolerant of you putting in the wrong information, right? Like it's like it's ones and zeros.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I didn't think about the AI piece on that part.
I want to circle back to a point you made earlier about the electricity in a car. We had UEI, the school down in Chula Vista, on the thing, and we did a little tour of the facilities there. And the instructor said that's the first thing he covers is electrical safety, not how to pull anything apart, not anything. It's not just pulling the terminals off the battery anymore. There's enough other devices in there that have stored electricity that it is dangerous. Yeah, that's his first thing. And the other thing we both noticed, there was no girls in the class.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
they're doing a lot nowadays to attract women to the programs that are available. We are still challenged in finding space for them in jobs once they've completed those programs. But I think we're overcoming that. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a pendulum swing. I mean, the first issue that we've always addressed when we started this podcast was the gap in folks leaving,
Mhm.
retiring, and then people entering the
Yeah.
trades or the specialty jobs market. It's huge. The gap is huge, and it doesn't seem like it's closing anytime soon. Which means, like you said, it seems like we need to push this a lot harder to all groups of people for
Yeah.
knowing that these are opportunities out there and knowledge that we should have. And if it leads to them wanting to work in that field and then become a master in that field, then even better.
And that's what's helpful. You're bringing up exactly a point that I like to bring up all the time, which is scratch the surface. Spend 5 minutes, spend 3 hours, spend a job shadow day. Figure out if this is something you're interested in before you go spend 4 years, 5 years of your life becoming like a mechanical engineer and then deciding you don't like it, right? Like you want to make sure that you actually like that. And now, if you know inside that you're a person that doesn't like being talked at, or you know inside that you love puzzles, you love working with your hands, you love putting things back together
Yeah.
and watching what came to fruition, then a trade is probably the right place for you. And you can get started right away. You can get started in so many different avenues. You don't have to wait for school. You can start as an apprentice. You can start, in an apprenticeship that puts you in a job immediately. So you can be getting paid while learning on the job. There's so many cool ways to just get going. And it's not just the things that we think of, right? Plumbers, electricians, technicians, automotive technicians. We lean on a lot of people who do very specialized work, and those people are disappearing. So, metal workers, what an art. You want to talk about somebody who can see something and like imagine it and fix it and change the shape and like have to literally use the brain and come up with something that didn't exist. That's a metal worker,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
And those people, they just don't exist anymore. And they're not the ones that do exist are not passing on their knowledge to this younger base, which is what I think is the biggest loss.
Yeah. Yeah. Where it's being replaced by big machines, your box cookie cutter style machines that are doing all the work for
Some of them can't do this work. I
oh yeah,
mean,
no.
if you take, a vehicle, I have one vehicle, I have 8 vehicles, but I have one vehicle that's 80 years old this year. And if you're going to modify anything on that, you're doing it by hand.
Just hammering it out,
Yeah.
molding it.
Yeah.
and- that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it comes to a big costly piece that I think people haven't realized. Just one, those arts are diminishing. People just aren't around doing those jobs anymore.
What
But
I'm saying is there's
yeah,
room for them.
yeah,
Come on,
absolutely.
people. There's
Yeah.
room for them. Come learn some cool stuff. If you like working with your hands, let's do
Yeah.
it.
But even on the
Absolutely.
other side, where we've talked to on, if you are exiting, there's still work. I mean, it's hard to convince someone that's worked so hard after they retire and say, hey, there's still work for you to get done,
Yeah.
to do.
Come be
Like,
a mentor.
pass it along to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many trade schools are dying to have people come in and be part-time teachers or
100%.
full-time
Yeah.
teachers.
Or even
So-
just guest speakers, like
Oh, yes.
even if you say, oh, well, I can't contribute 16 weeks, you can contribute one day. Like,
Absolutely. Do you have any connections to the school systems that are out there that is wood shop and metal shop and automotive shop coming back?
again, you said the pendulum swings, right? So I do work closely with the San Diego Automotive Educators Conference and the California New Car Dealers Association. They are making big strides to make programs more available for those in our schools for so long, which is like 2 decades at least. The only way that we judged youth success was if they went to college.
100%. Yeah.
So now we're judging, can they get a job? Do they have soft skills? There's so many other ways to judge success. And I think that our KPIs, our key performance indicators of those, have changed now. And I'm happy to see that swing in the opposite direction of us thinking through more of what that looks like.
That's huge.
It really is. So it's just, I mean, we started a little over 4 years ago, and
Congrats, man.
the numbers that we started off with is, for every 5 that are retiring, there's only 2 coming back in the trades. Now we're hearing, those numbers softening up a little bit because there is a lot more trade schools out there. It is happening a lot more. The trades have been horrible at marketing themselves for a long
Again,
time.
there's room for marketers,
There
right?
is.
People who
Yes.
are passionate, but like also have an idea of how to use the social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah, and that's on all spectrums. Even from like UEI. Us having UEI on the program and other nonprofit organizations that do help one underprivileged communities and or help companies, businesses hire on apprentices and provide that education piece and supplement to them working to the jobs. At the same time, there needs to be more of it, and and or just keep building up on what we already have. So it sounds like you have a pretty good connection kind of in between, from city to state to the public organizations, of kind of connecting that dot and that piece. Is that kind of where you see yourself fitting in the future, of like kind of help bring up some more programs for?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of cry a little bit every day about how hard it is to be a small business owner in California and in the US right now. Like, they push small business, but at the same time, the only people getting rewarded with money and things like that are giant businesses or these giant monopolies and conglomerates. So, I would love to hire someone right now. But in order to do that, I get buried by like insurance and regulations and HR responsibilities and all these things that I literally can't afford to make that next step. So I really need help, but I can't afford to pay the help and still cross T's and dot I's for the city, the state, the federal government. So I think that is a really big problem that we're seeing everywhere right now, because if we don't have the innovation of the small guys, then there's all these like entry level positions and those apprenticeships and things like that that are no longer available, right? So that's kind of a big gap I'm seeing. And to answer your question, I see myself as, and Girly Garage, as introducing automotive to people in a way that it's not scary. Not everybody is going to end up in automotive. And even the ones that do go through automotive school, only about 10% of them end up as technicians. So for me, it's like I can introduce people who maybe never even thought about automotive being in their lives. And maybe they're not getting into it today. Maybe they're getting into it 10 years from now. But they at least know, right? And now they're taking care of those machines, maybe spending less money year over year on that machine, putting more money in their pocket, putting more money back into our economy. There's so many ways that ends up snowballing.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that.
you just said 10% of people that go through some type of auto mechanic training are actually taking jobs
As technicians.
as tech. Where do they go?
Where do they drop off to, you mean?
Yeah. What, they decide to do something completely different, or
They could. There's the cool thing about automotive is there's a lot of crossover. So those who end up in automotive are ending up in automotive for a couple different reasons. Either A, they really want to help people. B, they love fixing things with their own two hands, which means they have a lot of internal drive, a lot of internal motivation. Or C, some combination of all of the above, right? So those people are actually really, really wanted across all spaces.
so does that mean they're going to another field that allows them to utilize their internal drive in once?
Possibly. I don't personally have the data on that. I
Okay.
just know that only 10% of those who go through automotive programs actually end up in the technician space.
I think that's incredibly sad.
I mean, maybe it was their choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because we've had a recent another school out in Texas and on the show, and they're pushing all different types of trades,
Mhm.
that they're pushing out there. And I think that's kind of what his method was. Is like, hey, you're in this program at this school, but you're allowed to maybe expand over into other areas if you find out that it's not for you.
Yeah.
Um, and within this space of the automotive, there's a lot of opportunity. But would you say like a solution would be adding more, small businesses, like you said, to kind of keep that circle of life of going into school or not going into university, but finding a career within the automotive industry and keeping them within there? Is that?
I think there's a lot of programs that are already doing that.
Yeah.
And when I went through school, it was a 2-year program. And in that 2-year program, you learn engines, that's a full class, transmissions, full class, brakes and suspension, full class, lights, smog, like all of those are different jobs in the industry.
Yeah.
So yes, maybe, engines, transmissions, and brakes and suspension, you might be doing every day as a technician. But if you wanted to go off and be a smog technician, you could do all the testing for that. Or, some programs nowadays, they'll literally have a week dedicated to body work, to electrical, to a specific niches to see what you like. And then once you've gone through each of them, you kind of have this well-rounded education, and then you take a 4-week concentration at the end of the program. So I think a lot of programs have already adapted to have that sort of style.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and that I think that kind of helps understand like where they would kind of go. Like you mentioned, some body work area, still working with the automotive, but not necessarily as a full-on technician.
Yeah.
Okay, understood. I like that. Now, the technician side, I think it's something that we've been seeing that it's just not marketed correctly. Where one, the fulfillment behind what you can get paid to be a mechanic, and throughout the years of maybe moving up as master mechanics, what's that career path look like for?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any idea.
Okay.
I've never worked in that field.
Yeah.
So when I didn't want to go down that path and ended up in racing, and then ended up in parts, and then ended up in new cars, and then new cars and sales and finance and all these different places, I never had to work my way up the food chain of being the lowest, technician on the totem pole. Now, when I was working at a local dealership here, they were paying our new technicians, I think they were paying them 20 an hour as entry, and that was, 5 or 6 years ago. And then, our highest paid technicians were being paid like 45 an hour. But in the grand scheme, I think that there needs to be some leaps and bounds made for technicians specifically. The way of flat rate, do you guys know what flat rate is?
Is it state to state?
Okay, so flat rate is the way that a technician is paid. So when a job comes in, let's say you need your oil changed. Okay, your oil change on a specific year, make, and model pays half an hour. Okay, 30 minutes. Now, if you get that job done in 25 minutes, you made 5 minutes extra worth of money. If that job takes you 35 minutes, you lost 5 minutes worth of money. It does not matter how long it took you. So our technicians are incentivized to do a job quickly. They're not incentivized to do a job well or to do a job correctly. So with so much electrical diagnostics coming down the pipeline with all of our newer vehicles, in my opinion, the flat rate way of paying our technicians is outdated, and it's not taking care of our technicians anymore. And then we should also be preparing our technicians to retire by the age of 50, because your body hurts. My body hurts now. I'm nowhere near 50. So you want to make sure that our technicians are thinking through the pathways to make sure that they're taking care of them as a human, right? So I think that our system is a little broken and needs some attention.
Absolutely. If you really stop and think about it, if you learn the basics of an engine, you can apply that to a motorcycle, a Sea-Doo, a boat,
Vacuum.
yeah, all kinds of other things out there. But you can also, like you were talking about, you can only do that in a lot of different trades, work so long physically.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, we were just talking with a plumber in here. In just a few years, you can go from being somebody that just unclogs drains, not knowing anything, to owning your own company. He's setting up the model to train you that fast so you can have your own company. So
yeah, if you can afford the insurance to pay other people. Sorry, I work in an industry with a ton of risk, so aka the risk of death. So it's very difficult.
I get that. There's a lot of other challenges that come with being a business owner.
Yes.
That's for sure. But
you can prepare them.
You can compare them, but you can also there's not just being an auto mechanic. You can work up to you manage an auto mechanic shop.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the parts manager. You could become
a teacher.
You could own the dealership if you really are ambitious. Learning your craft, having a base on that, I think is the first step. Not too many people come out and it's like, I want to start a business and have no clue what the business, how it actually works or
True.
what the service part of it is.
Very true.
And I mean, and it's important when you're in that path, I think, also to one, find your confidence and kind of stay grounded to what your core value was or what really got you started in that piece. I mean, how do you see yourself staying confident, well into the industry and not getting so overwhelmed with, like you said, there's a lot of risk behind it. What's your path to staying confident and grounded?
I think a lot of that's personality and just being hit with so many different things that at the end of the day, you overcame all of those. So how is this just not one more thing, right? Like I woke up and all my toes and fingers work. Like I'm happy. I'm one of those people who never stuck my hand into a running vehicle and lost one of my digits. So let's be grateful of that. And there's a lot in that as well as, especially in any trades position, you could bend over some funky way and then all of a sudden you have a back injury and you're no longer working for the next 3 weeks maybe. So it's really important to think through like how do I show up for myself every day? And I think, went to the gym this morning and worked out so hard. I was taking a little nap on the couch while I was waiting for our session to start. I was like, it's so important to make sure that you take care of the one human body that you're given before you give to others and before you show up for that paycheck because the paycheck only gets you so far. It doesn't fix your health if you don't have enough of it.
Solid advice.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've talked about one, health is not just your physical, it's a lot of the mental side of things too.
But if you're taking care of the physical, a lot of times your mental comes with it. So,
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And they both go side to side. And yeah, that physical piece is huge, especially if you're in the trades. You're lifting things. Like you said, you're bending over. You don't know what wrong position that you're stepping on a board and your other foot's on the ground that you stand up and then, it misaligns you.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen? Knock on wood, it's not happening to you right now. But yeah, that's great advice. Great advice. So I mean, it's huge. So I mean, as we're wrapping up, I mean, what do you see Girly Garage in the next few years? What's the future look like?
Yeah. So I envision Girlie Garage as a household name. I would love to have Girlie Garage in every major metropolitan city so that people have access to affordable automotive education in a way that it's coming to them. Now, you asked me earlier if I have a physical garage. I don't, I'm mobile. And the cool thing about that is right now I have 5 part time teachers who go all around San Diego County and South LA, pretty much anywhere people want to pay us to drive to, in order to bring that education to people. Now, that's a model that seems to work really, really well, and it also keeps our overhead very low. Now, again, like I said, I'm just looking for teachers, people who are passionate about teaching and empowering. You don't have to know the car stuff. So that's no longer a limitation for us to find one of those 19,000 female mechanics in the whole country, right? And I would one day love to have girly garage shops so that at the end of the day, because people still need their cars fixed, to be like, okay, yes, I can refer you to a shop. Or we could have a place to host those workshops. For now, we are partnering with local shops here in San Diego in order to use their parking lots in order to host our workshops as well. So there's a lot of big
cool.
growth happening this year.
Nice.
It's fantastic. That's cool to hear.
Thanks.
Yeah. Send that over to us so we can share it out there to everybody.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is free. So I do everything I can to keep all of our resources free for everyone. I do have a whole playlist on there called What's That Noise?
Nice.
Which helps people have those conversations with mechanics. So you're not like, oh yeah, my car's making this weird like like, you can actually describe it using something that is a real world example.
That's huge. No, so much resource. Everybody got it. Please go check this out. girlygarage.com. Girly Garage on all social media platforms.
Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah. And if you're a teacher out there, how do they reach out to you?
Oh, you don't have to be a credentialed teacher.
Yeah, someone that wants
somebody
to be
who's passionate. You can
about
just find
wanting
me
to-
on the website. All my contact information's on there. So
Okay, straight to the website right there. We'll share it out there to everybody. Talayna, we appreciate you being, here, sharing the real side of the industry and, you know, that piece, what Girlie Garage is all about. So
Yeah. Thanks so much for inviting me on, and hopefully we'll connect later and do a workshop together, right?
That would
yes,
be awesome.
we'll see you in
Thank
the parking lot. That's awesome. Thank you so much.